Sublimation is really, really great, but you can't sublimate on 100% cotton or on something black. So I want to show you how I used sublimation and the easy Subli paper to make this shirt right here so I didn't have to cut, layer, or weed any heat transfer vinyl. Make sure you stick around because I do have some reviews on how this holds up over time. Let's get started.
Hey you guys, so I'm editing and realized I never really said why you would want to use this easy Subli paper. Basically, it's a transfer sheet that is almost like a heat transfer vinyl, but it's a different material that will stick to your apparel. And then you will sublimate on top of it. So the sublimation on top of the easy Subli paper is permanent versus using something else. So it's basically a two-part process, and I'm going to walk you through what I did on my computer to set this up. Basically, you have the easy Subli paper in the background, and then you sublimate your image on top of that. So just wanted to pop in and explain that a little further.
I'm going to start by showing you how to prepare your easy Subli paper. You are going to take your sublimation design and then create an offset. So I just copy and pasted it over there because I need to use it later. And then I'm going to get rid of all the details. I really just want the basic shape. I'm going to group it together and weld it and then do a quick offset. And I am using Silhouette Studio, but you can do the same similar process over in Cricut Design Space or whatever program you use for sublimation. I am going to do an offset of about 0.05. It's just because the paper can shrink a little bit with the heat later. So do an offset, and then you're going to want to release the compound path, right click, release compound path, and get rid of all the things in the middle. Because I'm going to cut this and it's going to be white. I like to kind of do it on the computer and then see how it will look on my shirt. So that's what it's going to look like once I press it. So you're going to take your computer and get the settings right to cut your sublimation, your easy Subli paper. Do not mirror your design. And then you're going to send it to your Cricut or your Silhouette with the shiny side down. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see my cut settings. It might be a little bit different for each of you depending on your blade, but this is what was working for me. And I sent it to my Silhouette Cameo 4 with the shiny side down. It's going to cut through that white layer of that transfer paper, and then there's going to be, it's almost like cutting heat transfer vinyl because it basically is. You're going to weed away any of that design you don't use and then peel it up. And this design is a little bit intricate, so I had to be really careful making sure not to rip it. It's not super thick. So go ahead and peel up your design from that backing. Again, that shiny side is the adhesive side. So the way you cut it is the way you're going to press it onto your shirt. So you can see here, it's really thin and it's easy to weed, which is really, really nice. And then I can prepare my sublimation design. I'm using print and cut for this, and I am still gonna do a small offset. So when I cut it, it's not exactly on the outline of my design. I like to do a little bit of an offset. It just makes it easier, and doing the print and cut really makes it a lot easier to line it up. So you're going to mirror your design and print it with your sublimation printer on your sublimation paper. Go through, make sure your settings are correct. I don't always print from Silhouette Studio, but when I do, I want to make sure that my settings are correct. And I'm going to then cut this with my cutting machine, and it's really like cutting any sort of paper or cardstock. Here are my settings in Silhouette Studio. So you can see that you, again, make sure that you have your registration marks and everything like that. For this design, I was using my 8.5 by 11 printer. It would have been a little bit better with a larger print size, but I made it work. And I'm going to peel it away from my cutting mat. And it is sticky, so I do recommend that you flip it over and really peel back the cutting mat versus peeling the paper up. And not every design, has like the scallop that this one has or intricate details, so it might be a little bit easier. But it's really, this goes for any sticker paper too. If you take the backing and kind of roll it and peel it away, it helps the design stay nice and flat. If you peel away the paper, it can get a little like curly and curled up, and it's easier to avoid, but I just had to be extra careful with this particular design to make sure I did not rip my paper. So just a reminder, the Easy Subli paper backing, we did not mirror, but the sublimation design we did, you can see that it is backwards. You want to get your Easy Subli paper background just on your shirt enough to stick, but not enough to fully like shrink or anything. So press it for about 1 to 2 seconds. Then go ahead and tape down your sublimation paper right on top where you want it to be. And this one you're going to press longer. You're going to press for 60 seconds, again, all at 400 degrees. Then you're just going to peel away your design, and you can see how vibrant the colors are. And this is really a great way to get your designs to show up on a dark shirt or even a cotton shirt. So these shirts looked really, really great. They were for a bachelorette party, and I love how they turned out. I will say the Subli paper, can you guys hear that? Has like a thickness to it. So it wouldn't be something I'd want to wear all the time, but it's not all that bad. And I've watched this shirt about 10 times. Like I really didn't anticipate wearing it more than once, but sometimes I just need to throw on a gross t-shirt around the house. So I choose this one now. But it has held up pretty nicely to the wash. Some of the letters are starting to bleed a little bit, but overall the colors are still very vibrant. So I definitely recommend this method for shirts. I think if you are gonna use them for a specific occasion, like a birthday or a trip, it's really, really perfect. I might do something different, use like direct to film if you wanted to do, you know, everyday apparel on dark shirts, but we can get into that in another video. If you want to learn more about how to get started with sublimation, make sure you watch the video on your screen.